So I think that'd be something cool to talk about. Um, Hang out for a bit, get your thoughts, see what you think on these things here. But all right, so everything there seems to be good. Let me know if you hear me and sound is good, just because you know how that goes sometimes. Okay, and I think. All right, so we are live across the board. What is up, good people? Let's see. There's something I was gonna see, but no, that works. That'll work. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? We're live across the board. Shout out to the TikTok crew. Shout out to the YouTube crew, Instagram crew, Facebook crew. As we pop in for a bit, thought this was interesting, so wanted to um, at least touch on this a little bit. For those that don't know, this is a rule that's out there for a bit. So I think it's interesting that this came across a few days ago. So if you want to read this on your own, you can definitely do so. That is over at militarytimes.com. This is from last Wednesday, the 16th. Supreme Court heard arguments for on veteran benefits appeal, specifically looking at this benefit of the doubt rule. Let's see if we can hyperlink to that and open that up real quickly. But there's this whole concept, if you are not aware of it, of the benefit, of the doubt rule going to the veteran, right? So this was talked about back in April. Fast forward now to this current, where they're at now. Cases have been heard. So basically, when we start looking at this whole benefit of the doubt rule, if it's a 50-50 argument, right, where a veteran presents arguments, um, once I went to the place on the screen. Okay, check, just making sure. How are you? We got Mark's in the building. Shout out to you, Semper Fidelis. 100% in the building. Um, Jodia. I'm sure I messed that up completely, so my bad. Let's see. Let me know if the sound. Well, that works because the sound was actually not even on. That might be the reason. Let us switch. All right. Let me know if that works out a little bit better for sound because I just had that whole thing on the wrong mic. So yeah, let's go ahead and make sure that sound works for everybody, and then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, sound should be better now. So let me know if sound is good now. So yeah, for some reason I don't know why I literally had one mic on and it was literally connected to a whole another mic. So there goes that part. It's a good thing I didn't start really talk about anything. All right, yeah. So now we're good. Now we're good. Um, so yeah. I literally I had the audio. I had this mic on, but then I was using like a whole another one. You know what I mean? So uh, yeah. But good. That's the whole thing. Making sure sound works. So. But I'm bringing this up here. Shout out to folks for sure. Hey, Carla, shout out to you. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate that. Um, Indeed, to Mark's point. Let's see here. Much better for the audio. Check. Better across the board. So I think we're cooking. Very good. So there's this whole concept of the benefit of the doubt. So I want to start kind of doing a lot of these like random just pop-ins and stuff like that. So if you're not following, make sure you do that. The replay for these lives are all going to be on YouTube. So if you miss something or you just happen to jump in after the fact, veteran DP, same username will take you. You can find me on YouTube there and kind of get a recap. And what I usually do is I'll do like a little recap of like a description. I'll break out the timestamps. This one won't be too long, but as far as where I touch on certain things, 'cause inevitably I'll answer questions, obviously, if you have them. So feel free to ask your questions. If you know someone who needs some help for VA claims or they have questions, tag them, send them the video, share it. I'll be on here for a few minutes today, and then I'll probably pop up later on tonight. But I wanted to just get this out the way before I forgot about it. The whole concept here that I'm really looking at is this concept of the
benefit of the doubt, right? If you've never heard what that is, the benefit of the doubt rule, right, that came into play some time ago. And I'm actually going to put that up here because you all know it's military time, so these won't block up too much of what we're trying to cover. And I'll zoom in as well, so I know it's hard to read sometimes. So I'm actually going to center this a little bit better, just so you can read it better. This is over on militarytimes.com. So in plain English, the benefit of the doubt rule really goes into the if there's a tie, the tie should go to the veteran. So many a times a veteran files a VA claim and it appears that something's just off, right? Like, you present things, they say another thing, and by default, you almost have to have a majority argument because if it's a tie, it doesn't go to you, right? But that's not the way it should be. There is a whole rule for that. So that's something that I want to kind of at least highlight today specifically. So they heard arguments at the Supreme Court on Wednesday, specifically, again, when this was written for better veteran benefits case, which could have a wide-ranging impact on the implications of options to appeal decisions denying them payouts. Right. So when veterans are filing claims, they pretty much brought these arguments forward. So we'll kind of break down what that really means. They likely won't have a rule on these for months, so this is expected to have a final decision come springtime, just to put in perspective. But basically, the issue is how the Court of Appeals, Veterans, and other judicial review boards interpret the benefit of the doubt rule, which for many, again, has been kind of like a sore subject when we start looking at this part here, right? So let's see if I can actually highlight that. There you go. Regarding veteran claim benefits, under federal statute, VA adjudicators are required, right? And I want to make sure I highlight that so folks can see that there, to rule in favor of veterans applying for benefit support when there is an approximate balance of positive and negative evidence, right? So there are times where a veteran submits a claim to the VA and there seems to be a tie. Like it could be that you incurred this injury in service, or it could be that you didn't, right? And that's basically the basic argument there. So if there's a 50-50 tie, the tie goes to the veteran. That's basically what this says. However, advocates have long argued, I have seen myself as well in our practice when we start looking at decisions and denials and the reason for the denial and what they're basing the denial off, that it doesn't necessarily go that way. And I'm going to reference here an OIG report too. That's kind of going to go hand in hand with this. So if all things are on the up and up, tie goes to the veteran. However, it's long been argued that the VA does not follow the rule. Crazy concept, not slamming them. It just is what it is. Requiring veterans to prove their injuries and eligibility beyond the doubt to receive a report, right? So beyond not having a benefit of the doubt, it's beyond the shadow of a doubt. You must, clear as day, give it to them. Many veterans ask a question. Can I file for this? Will this get rated? What are my chances? What does it look like? Et cetera, et cetera. And if your evidence is weak at best, obviously that doesn't help the veteran because you sit there kind of going, you know what, I maybe didn't get seen in service. I didn't complain. I wasn't seen. There's many reasons why a veteran sometimes doesn't have a lot of proof in service for something, especially older veterans. Nowadays, we're doing a better job of communicating this. Many people who are watching things like this are active duty. They're getting seen. They're going to the doctor. They're annotating things. Old Army, old Air Force, old Navy, old Marine Corps, not the case. So in 2002, Congress passed legislation requiring veteran appeals courts to ensure the benefit of the doubt rules follow properly in disability claim process. But court officials have argued that that only applies in cases of clear errors and does not mandate a full review of a case. So if you have a queue or issue, things like that, that becomes kind of part of the problem, right? Case before the Supreme Court centers on two veterans because that's kind of where the argument now lies. So I'll kind of highlight that there so you can see it. Both Joshua Bufkin, who served in the Air Force from 05 to 06, Norman Thornton, who served Army 88 to 91. Both men applied for disability benefits related to injuries they say occurred while in service, right? Bufkin was denied a claim for PTSD, while Thornton was granted 10% for the same condition. Both appealed decisions and both lost, right? Not an uncommon story sometimes. Lawyers for both men said that represented arguments, counter arguments to the effect of like, hey, wait a second, something's off here, right? To include, to conduct a full review of the case and include whether or not benefit of the doubt standard was followed, right? So they're saying, hey, did you give the veterans the benefit of the doubt? Because on the first go, it didn't happen, and on the appeal, it didn't happen either. Arguments before the court on Tuesday pretty much looked at things like they said language adopted by Congress clearly mandates that the appeal panel has to do a check and make sure that the decision it is about to affirm it complies with the laws. But lawyers for the government argued that requiring a full additional review of evidence would be duplicative and inefficient. Interesting how the government finds that inefficiency might be a thing that they don't do. Anyway, but I think that's actually pretty funny. So you can kind of read that to yourself there and have a chuckle, right? In support of the brief ahead of Wednesday's arguments, officials from the various organizations lamented the federal officials' current practice have ensured that the agency that gets the benefit of the doubt, not veterans. It exacerbates the very problem Congress sought to solve, aka the benefit of the doubt goes to the VA, not to the veteran, which obviously goes against what the whole process of this was. Similarly, DAV officials lent support for plaintiffs in cases, presented questions that's more important to the nation's disabled veterans and families, calling for a current review of process procedures to be troubling, and ultimately, obviously, the updates being that decisions then in turn may come sometime in the spring. Nothing is officially happening, but I highlight this because it's, we understand the benefit of the doubt argument. So again, is it 50-50? It should go to the veteran. Not beyond a reasonable doubt. If the benefit of the doubt goes to the veteran. That's what it should be. It's not followed. I talk about this a lot when we go into our ACE CMP class, which we had yesterday, which was a great class. So we had a great session yesterday, a lot of active duty folks and some veterans as well. And we talked all things VA claims and CMP exams. Now, for here, this is an OIG report, as you see here, that came out. I want to make sure that y'all see it. So let me move that down here. That way, there's no funky business of where does this come from? What are you reading? Let's see. If we're looking at the BVA could improve the accuracy and completeness of medical opinions and requests, right? For disability claim benefits, specifically looking at this. So when I talk about these examinations that many people are saying, don't go to the exam, all these different things, I understand, got it. However, here's my issue. Beginning 2016, the VA put aside a good whopping $6.8 billion. And I bring this up because that's why we have these contractors, right? There's contractors popping up left and right. Many veterans reach out and they'll ask questions like, hey, is this a legit company? I got a letter from this company. I'm supposed to do this or that, the third. Well, again, let's figure out what's going on here, right? This is actually a thing. These companies are coming up, and not saying they're bad, but rather there are contracts out there. That's what that means. $6.8 billion in contracts with a B, bravo, for disability compensation. So they're paying these providers to examine us for these CMPs and these VA claims that we're filing. And many veterans take the approach of saying, I'm not going to go to CMP because for a variety of reasons. Many are told not to, all the different things. I'm on the desktop, so I can't bring somebody on to comment and do stuff like that. So that's not how this will work for this one. So I'm streaming all over the place. So shout out again. We are all over. We're on TikTok. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But a lot of money was put together. Biggest reason I bring this up is because we have literally a 68% error rate. So when I bring up this thing about error rates, it literally looks like this. Instances where the VA has noted that processors did not correctly identify relevant medical evidence for the examiner's review. They did not always use adequate language, and they did not regularly request warranted medical opinions, and sometimes requested unnecessary opinions when a veteran files a claim. Why do I say this? Because these failings, right, focusing on the last part here, can lead to inaccurate medical opinions, incorrect decisions, sound familiar? Claims delayed. He already ate. I already fed him. Joe, I fed him already. Delayed claim decisions for veterans and wasted resources. For example, if the medical opinion is returned for staff or rework, etc. So we have a high error rate already that it is noted, right? This is not something new. So there, again, this is the whole thing. You want to look it up, have at it, do a Google search for OIG report. BVA could improve the accuracy and completeness of medical opinion requests for veteran disability claims. Screenshot it, look it up, have a read at it. Go to the exec summary right there. You'll see what I just highlighted, which is how much they committed monies to do these examinations. And then on the next page, you'll literally see the breakdown of the failure rate, etc. And they break down the different things. Claim processors did not completely do a thing. They could improve this. We're going to propose this, the recommendations, what they say they're going to do, blah, 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 blah. And then a bunch of stats and numbers, and you can kind of deep dive all that. I just want to give this a summary because it's not a deep dive into all that. But I mentioned this because when we started to look at, where this is at for this, it starts to make sense, right? They're hearing arguments for this whole issue of the benefit of the doubt. So veterans filing claims 50-50. Is it the veteran? Does the veteran, get the tie? They should, but that's not happening. That's been argued. We've experienced that. We've seen these things. But on top of that, beyond the benefit of the doubt, you got outright instances where the wrong decisions, wrong opinions are being requested. So, all things being fair, yeah, the tie goes to you. However, that doesn't make any sense when we're looking at this issue here because of just incorrect things that are happening in the system. So, why do I bring this up? Because if we understand that these are things that are happening and there are faults and there are issues, we have to appeal. Regardless of the minutia and all the details and geeking out about all the things, decision wise for this, my point more so is that a veteran sometimes, in my experience, doesn't want to file a claim. Majority, writ large, do not. You don't want to feel like you're asking for a handout, all the things that come with that. Check. However, you rightfully have a claim and the system denies you. You don't sit there and say, wait a second, they got it wrong, let me appeal. You stop. You give up. You don't go forward anymore. So this is more me saying, hey, you may have got denied. Review your denial letters, see what the rationale is, get a second opinion, whether or not it makes sense what was pushed back to you, because you may not be able to make sense of it. Get help however it may come, but let them explain to you what potentially might be the play here, because you could have honestly had all the things there, and the argument is sound, but the system got it wrong, as we saw up here. And then, even if it was a tie, we have instances where obviously we know that that's something that is being pushed back at consistently, right? So, does that mean every denial is going to be overturned? No. But what I'm saying is, I don't want veterans to just outright quit their fight and not continue the argument because, a denial came. Because it's like, hey, I tried. They said, no, I'm done. No, the system sadly is getting it wrong, sadly, more often than not. So that's really one of the biggest things I wanted to at least hit on very quickly because I think it's important. I think that it matters for veterans to know that, hey, a denial is not the end of the road, but rather you can push back. You have the ability to say, hey, I want this reviewed. I want, to push back again, get support, get help, but don't just settle for it, right? Because sometimes they do get it wrong. So that's one of the biggest things. You get denied, look at those denials, look at options, find out ways to move forward. You never know. I can't tell you how many times I've seen veterans that had a great argument, but it just didn't continue. They don't even read the denial letters. I'll do another live another day, and we'll start going. I'll go over maybe like a boilerplate template, redacted denial letter to how to read it. Because even things like that, sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes we get so caught up in the details of the higher level thinking of claims, where it's like, dude, I can't even read the damn letter that came in the mail, right? So I'm gonna take that for note and look at reading like a redacted one and just showing you here's where the evidence is. Make sure everything you submitted is noted in the evidence. Look at the denial rationale. What are they saying? Because that's going to give you clues on how we fight back. And then from there, depending on what's missing, we can decide whether or not we do higher level reviews or a supplemental claim. Because if you're fundamentally missing something, you have to add something to it. We have to go supplemental. And if everything's there that should be there, then we go higher level. All right. So some things to consider. Hit the link in my bio. It has all the cool stuff we got going on. We had a great session yesterday for ACMP. This coming Wednesday, we're doing Navigating VA Claims. You can sign up there for that class. It's a free class coming this week, coming up. Free BDD checklist for the active duty folks leaving service or med boarding, and also the mental health secondary. So go ahead and grab that. That is free there as well. Jump on our newsletter. We send it out every 2 weeks. We covered, do you need a Nexus letter this week? That was the email that went out. But check our socials, check our page. Our website, if you click the first little link there, it'll take you to what we have, and you kind of see a little bit of who we are, what we're about, things that we do. So have a peruse, look around, check the about us. You get a background on the crew, the team. You want to have a call, reach out, all the good stuff that's there, right? But I wanted to at least kind of just hit on that very quickly because I think it matters for just awareness, right? Let's see very quickly. I'll just scan the questions that may have come in, but yeah, that's it. Just kind of quick, simple, to the point. Nothing too long today. Let's see. Shout out to folks. We got Air Force in the building. Service connected. Shout out to you, Miss NJ Love. Let's see. Scrolling down, making sure. Just did my last CMP. Kick the VA's door in and tell them to hurry up. I'm telling you, listen. What now? What comes after this? 100% PNT. Get busy living. Go get the things you need, state benefits and things like that, and rural family and champ VA if you have them. Let's see. Quick point: since Chevron defense has been overturned, the way court leans on this is promising. Check. Yeah. I got denied my TBI. Okay. What was the rationale for the denial? And then look at potentially an appeal maybe there. What do you rate it for? What other things do you have? What do you do after being denied with an IMO? Review it, right? You could do potentially a higher level just to have a second pair of eyes. If not, then maybe rework, double down on some more evidence, expand on the parts they're saying it's not there. Because an independent medical opinion is just that, right? But if it's a service connection issue, then that's what we have to build up, that the IMO may not provide, right? That's a medical opinion. Maybe on the service side, some things may be added there. Who knows? So a few different ways, depending on if it's the first denial, maybe higher level. And if not, then supplemental. I had a guy, a veteran, 3 years, his migraine kept getting denied. It was migraines, it was denied, higher level denied, supplemental denied, high level denied, supplemental 1. 3 years. Nothing fundamentally changed, but it was just having some time to stay in the fight. Because as we saw, right, sadly, the VA gets it wrong. And sometimes you got to just kind of fight. Just got ready today, a month ago, but they reopened my claim because they say they messed up. Okay. It could be for a variety of reasons, so nothing to get too alarmed on. But okay. But yeah, I think that's all the quick questions that we have there. Amy's in the building. I can hear you just really low. Yes, yeah, we're all over the place. So shout out to the Facebook group. Shout out to TikTok. Shout out to YouTube, to Instagram. So we're on the public page of Facebook, personal page of Facebook, group Facebook, YouTube, and also TikTok. Replays available all over the place. YouTube seems to be the better place for the replays. So if you missed it, just jump to YouTube and you can watch the replay. Would be the best way to go about that. Let's see, messages sent my way. Yeah, if you send me a DM, I'll get to you, but it's just gonna take some time, so just be aware. My DMs are swamped. I'm literally, again, right now on all social platforms. So TikTok alone, I got about 100 messages I gotta work through. So that takes time to get through there. So just heads up, gonna take a little bit of time. Andrew, what's going on, my brother? I tagged Steven, so he should be in contact with you. But check on the sleep apnea. Let's see. File for PTSD September. Just went to step 5. I'm so stressed to do. Thought it would take longer. Hey, that's subjective, Calvin. Honestly, sometimes it can move real fast. Sometimes it just slows down. So I wouldn't get too crazy. Okay, bet. Check my DMs. Yeah. Check if he did or not. I know I tagged him. He saw it. So I just brought him on the team. He just came on. He's solid. He was a VSO as well. So he'll be on the website here shortly. But yeah, touch base with him as well there. And you be rocking and rolling. You're welcome, my man. Appreciate you. I remember your names when I saw your face. I was like, oh, snap, where you been at, man? But I get it, man. Life happens. I understand, man. So if it's go time now, let's fucking go. Let's see. Okay, we got that one. Get healthcare benefit documentation to benefits. Yeah. And you can pull out a few different ways, Andrew. So, yeah, we'll square you on the way in the back end. But, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Benefit of the doubt goes to the veteran. We can kind of go at it a few different ways. But outside of that, I appreciate y'all. We'll end it here. I'll pop back later. So just make sure you have your bell notifications on and you're following. Tag a veteran. Head to YouTube. Watch the replay in case you missed it. In about maybe an hour or so, what I'll do is I'll make it a point to update like the description. I'll put some time hacks in there just because, it makes it easier to kind of navigate it that way. So that's kind of like a subtle, not subtle hint of saying, follow me on YouTube because we're trying to get more active there. So the thumbnails, pray for me, y'all, because look, I like just going live and doing this shit, but it's having to sit here and do daggone freaking thumbnails and crap. That's like pulling teeth. So, alrighty. So, aside of that, Justin, check tracking. Everybody else, I think we're good to go. If you DM me, I'll get back to you soon. Just stand by because I got a whole bunch of them and I work through the ones as best I can. So, just be aware. But, all right, good people, be good. Check out the link in my bio. Again, sign up for things this Wednesday. It is Navigating VA Claims. We're navigating VA claims. You want to be there because guess what? We're doing that, asking questions. It's in Zoom. It's not live. So just to be aware, I want y'all to know that because That is the point that we're going to be touching on this coming week. So just shameless plug for what's coming up. That's the agenda. That's the stuff we're talking about. Breaking down the claim process, how we help you overcome issues, if our services are for you or not. And then we have a Q&A for an hour. So 40 minutes of class, about an hour of Q&A. There's things I can't talk about on social media because community guidelines, which apparently you can thirst trap and do all that shit, but you can't talk about disabilities or mental health or depths of not wanting to be around anymore because it pings the algorithm in a negative way. Make it make sense. Anywho's, that's the plan of action. Hope to see y'all there. Be good.